Pompey Sound, your hourly update from Fratton Park. Sponsored by Piglet's Pantry, the home of award-winning and handmade food on the South Coast.
Good day, Pompey fan. How are you? It's the Friday, the day before our date with Preston. Let's take a look at the very latest news.
John Messino is adamant about Pompey's glaring weak spot. I keep saying it and I can't emphasise the point anymore, the 38-year-old began, as quoted by the Lancashire Post. Derby have picked up 6 points in 4 days, Luton have won, Plymouth have won, Stoke have won, Hull have won. It's the most ridiculous thing for us to get carried away with anything other than thinking we are in a scrap and have to do everything we possibly can to make sure we pick up enough points. I keep saying it, whenever we pick up a win, we need that mentality as a football club to say, fine, we've got to go again and again and again. Because very, very quickly, you get dragged back into it. We have to be a lot better at dealing with that. Absolutely, that has been my message to the players, my message to the media. That is what I genuinely believe. There can't be any more evidence than there has been this week where the bottom 3 sides have won, including Derby picking up 6 points. It's very tight.
Yeah, if you listen elsewhere on Pompey Sound or podcast Mick Robertson or Dean Adams, you'll hear them saying that there was an air of exhaustion at Fratton Park against Plymouth as a hangover from the Leeds game. And what can you do about that? If the crowd were exhausted, the players are exhausted, besides drinking an awful lot of coffee, there's not an awful lot you can do.
Despite John Messino's full-on focus on maintaining the success of Pompey's campaign to avoid relegation, he inevitably has half an eye on recruitment in the summer transfer windows. As Pompey Sound have been emphasizing, there will be 2 recruitment campaigns under consideration at Fratton Park, the first being the one which is hoped for, that championship status is retained. The second is the bleak prospect of having to rebuild a League One promotion side all over again. Several current Pompey squad members will be looking for signs and signals about the future of the current squad if championship football is retained, and with their peace of mind not far away from his own thoughts, Messino has indicated that if they can keep the club up, it will be a quiet summer of activity on the transfer side. However, much to the relief of Pompey fans who love the cloak and dagger of summer transfer talk, there will, of necessity, be getting on for a dozen empty dressing room lockers when the season is done and dusted. Pompey currently have 6 loan players on their books, all of whom will lose their status as Pompey players, unless their services are renewed. Also in the mix are Pompey players out on loan, whose contracts are ending and under review. All in all, there will be plenty of juicy gossip, ranging from speculative fantasy to informed inside information about the identities of possible newcomers, starting from the moment that, should that moment hopefully arrive, when Pompey are mathematically safe and can start planning the consolidation of their championship status next season.
Yeah, it's hard on the players, but it's light relief for fans during the otherwise fairly tedious summer months, wondering about what kind of wonders we are going to be cheering on the following season.
Previewing an upcoming match, in this case Preston, is usually a matter of comparing league status, recent form, and the respective merits of both sides. Those days are gone for a great many clubs in the modern-day game. It's now all about the injury list. A quick look then at Preston v Pompey this Saturday. Preston midfielder Brad Potts has joined Ali McCann and Jack Watmore on the sidelines after he picked up a hamstring injury in midweek. Dwayne Holmes was also on Preston's injury list with a broken leg, but he has recently left the club to sign a deal with MLS side Houston Dynamo. Jordan Story and Milutin Osmajic are making progress in their respective injury recoveries, with the duo looking to prove their fitness in time for Saturday's home clash. As for Portsmouth, Callum Lang, Paddy Lane, Jacob Farrell, Hayden Matthews and Ibane Boat are set to miss the rest of the season through injury. Pompey are also without the central defensive duo of Rob Atkinson and Connor Shaughnessy, who are sidelined with calf and hamstring injuries respectively. Christian Sadie and Jordan Williams will not be ready for Saturday's away trip, although they could return to fitness for the first game back from the international break against Blackburn Rovers on March 29th.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how Jack Watmore has come on since he left us. He was a bit of a fan's favourite, and recently he's been opening up about some of the difficulties that he's faced as a professional footballer, particularly with dealing with injuries. So we wish him well, and we also wish all our injured well. We've been doing that for too long now.
Pompey fans are learning to live with rearranged fixtures in order to suit the needs of Sky TV. The latest change is only a small tweak, but indicative of the power that now rests with television over the football authorities and their once sacrosanct fixture list. As recently as last season, a fixture list was published at the beginning of the season and adhered to until the closing day. It was slightly different from the century-old fixture list, which simply laid out matches to be played at 3 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. Occasional midweek fixtures happened to fulfill the number of matches necessary, or to overcome postponements. This season, since the signing of a new deal between the football authorities and Sky TV, fixtures are under constant review in order to meet the demands of the broadcaster. The latest change affecting Pompey is comparatively microscopic, but an indicator of the way forward. Sky have asked that the kickoff time for Pompey's away game at Coventry is moved back from 7:45 p.m. to 8 o'clock. It doesn't change much for fans, but it's a testament to the fact that the progress of Frank Lampard's Coventry set against the success of John Messino's Pompey is a juicy talking point for Sky pundits and commentators. The minor change to the schedule of the match can be interpreted as a major upswing in the status of Pompey, the football team, and Pompey, the brand.
Yeah, we've gone from being a football club that represented the Joe Bloke of the island of Portsea, and there was wonder in that, heading towards being a family club, which is slightly different. But in between, we have become a brand. And what is that brand? What's a brand? What's the difference between a business and a brand? Your brand is how you're perceived. It's your image. It's your public persona, your identity. And we, Pompey, are becoming a particular brand which has to do with the passion and the fervour of Fratton Park, the look of the ground and the feel and the sound of the crowd. And TV wants excitement, and sport gives you excitement, and it's real excitement. It's not been written by some scriptwriter. It's actually unfolding before your very eyes. And losing to Plymouth, having just beaten Leeds, is a perfect example of the kind of drama which, if you put it into a piece of fiction on television or on cinema, people would say, yeah, but life doesn't happen like that. Well, it does happen like that in football. And you get a roller coaster thing, and you get personalities, and the personality of Fratton Park is the crowd, and it's a big lure, and it's a big part of our brand. It's going to make us world famous, really. And so power to us, power to the fans, and power to the brand of Pompey FC. This is Pompey Sound.